Welcome back to 6 Wins. That was a weird what up, but it was like Always Sunny.
Yeah.
We love that show. My name is Matt. This is Chris, and we're going to review a couple matchups from our best male WWE superstar / wrestler bracket right now. We've got 2 matchups to talk about here. We're talking about the number 6 Kurt Angle, one of my personal favorites, I think, versus the number 11 Ricky Steamboat. And then our second matchup we'll talk about number 3, the big dog, the head of the table, Michael Cole, Roman Reigns, versus number 14, the ultimate heel, and another loose cannon like Ultimate Warrior, the Iron Sheik.
Oh, okay.
So right. Roman Reigns versus Iron Sheik, Kurt Angle versus Ricky Steamboat. Before we get there, you're a big fan of Matt and Trey, right?
I love Matt and Trey.
So you know some South Park. You watch South Park.
It's my favorite show of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well then it'll either be really easy or really hard for you.
Okay.
Oh,
God. Okay.
I want you to take these 4 wrestlers, Kurt Angle, Steamboat, Reigns, Sheik, and place them into the roles of the 4 boys, Eric Cartman, Kenny, Stan, and Kyle. I will allow you to switch one of them out if it's a little tricky for Butters. We'll allow Butters. Want somebody to get cast as like a Butters equivalent.
Okay.
But who do you think matches up with each of those 4 or 5 boys from South Park?
Okay. You know who I'm going. Cartman.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's both say
All
3,
right.
2, 1. Iron Sheik. Yeah. You say ultimate heel. Like, Cartman doesn't have like a kind bone in his body. It's all for selfish reasons. And, you know, we obviously don't know Iron Sheik, but if you need a funny Twitter page to follow, that guy is just on fire. I don't even know if it's the real Iron Sheik. I would assume it is, but he just... So, Iron Sheik has got to be Cartman.
Yeah, I almost feel like he runs his, like, jokes, like, I'm sure he has, like, another language that's his, like, first primary language. I feel like he just types, like, his joke into Google Translate, so it gets, like, a weirder phrasing, and it's, like, doubly funny, because you're like, this doesn't, it's like, I can tell what he's going for, but it doesn't quite make sense.
Yes, yeah. So, Iron Sheik's gotta be Cartman.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with the 4 main ones, but I might have to put one as Butters.
Yeah. I think Kenny's a hard to like cast for because he doesn't do a lot unless there's unless Nick Foley was in here.
Yeah. Well, I'm going Steamboat as Kenny.
Oh, okay.
Just because he's not really a talker,
yeah.
So just keep just the thing around his mouth.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Right on.
Now I gotta go. Kurt Angle as Butters.
Yeah, I
have to. Well, hey, fellas, like that's so Angle with the cowboy.
He showed up with DX.
Yeah, right. He just. Now it puts Reigns at Stan or Kyle. So I gotta go with Kyle.
Oh, okay.
I gotta put Reigns as Kyle only because Kyle has more of a fight to him. I feel like Kyle, especially when it comes to Cartman, he's a little more opinionated, and they tend to butt heads more. But yeah. Sheik is Cartman. That's the given. I'm going to go Angle is Butters, Steamboat is Kenny, and then Reigns is Kyle. Yeah, what about you? What are you thinking?
I would probably be pretty similar. I'm just going to completely break up whatever I thought and just try and do an alternate one. Okay. Let's do Roman Reigns as Eric Cartman. I think you could, like, he's not, but I think he could pull it off in like his most like weird Healy moment. Let's do Iron Sheik as Kyle, or not as Kyle, as Kenny, to limit the only thing he's good at. He just dies and gets killed. He'd be so pissed about it in real life. And then I'll go like Angle as Stan. Angle is Kyle and Steamboat is Stan. I hate that. Yours was pretty close to mine. I just tried to throw in like a weird combo to see if I could make it work. It's not good. Sheik's got to be Cartman.
He's got to be.
I would do Reigns, Stan, honestly. Angle is either Butters or Kenny, and I would go Steamboat with Kyle. I think Reigns kind of has like main. Stan sometimes strikes me as main character. Okay. So I think Reigns has like main character draw, just like kind of even keel. Yeah. Doing what's best for the group.
Right. That's fair.
For the bloodline, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, cool. So yeah, thank you for participating. Let us know if you were able to find a way to not have Iron Sheik as Cartman and have it make sense. I tried, it didn't work. Let's go ahead and talk about the results of these matchups, or at least our own opinions first, and what we thought might happen, and then the results. So we'll start with Angle and Steamboat.
Okay. Kurt Angle was at the 6 seed.
Yep.
Steamboat was at the 11. I think appropriately placed. If I had to redo it, I'd probably boost Angle up a little more.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't have too much to say about this except I'm kind of thinking Angle in a landslide. They're both, you can't put one over the other in terms of in-ring work.
Yeah.
And Angle is just leaps and bounds above Steamboat in terms of just mic work, character, ability to carry the company. So Angle all day for me. What about you?
Yeah, I thought Angle would win very big here because no matter like almost what era you grew up in, unless you're a super old head, you know, and grew up and don't follow anymore, you would know Kurt Angle, and even somebody that like grew up and still likes the older generations and earlier wrestling, I think would know Kurt Angle and would respect Kurt Angle. Like, he's so good at what he does. He's a true wrestler.
Oh, it's damn true.
Yeah. What I did, one thing, just to kind of throw out something that I think Steamboat had at least equal to Angle, if not a little bit more, is there was a presentation and there was a theatrics to his entrances and things like that. He was very there was really high production around his performance.
Yeah.
And a lot of like I said, some of the theatrics and stuff like that was really cool. And I don't know if like obviously they never like put a focus on that for Angle, but if there's one thing he had going for him, it's that.
Yeah, definitely not trying to take the wind out of Steamboat sales. But when you talked about entrances, you remember the segment, I believe it was on SmackDown, where Angle, he was full on heel at this time.
Yeah.
And he was like that whiny heel. He came out and he got booed and they did the "You Suck" chant. And he goes, "No, you don't boo your Olympic hero. I'm going to go back. We're going to redo the entrance until you react appropriately." So he went back. I think he did it like 3 times. It's probably like, it took up like 20 minutes to see when he kept coming out.
Yeah.
And then each time they would just boo louder and chant "You Suck" louder. Just classic.
Great heel work.
Just,
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal. He still is really great.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would take Angle over almost anybody in this list. He's probably my personal top 5, or in the whole bracket. Yeah. So Angle for sure. So when we put it to the vote, I would say at least the poll that I checked, there was some good respect for Steamboat. Yeah. He made it closer than I thought. But Kurt Angle did end up winning. I don't know if there was a bigger landslide in your polls, or if it was. Did you just see more votes than you thought Steamboat would get?
Yeah, I did. I did. I thought it was going to be like landslide,
80-20%.
like kind of like an Austin Luger type thing, where Luger like maybe a couple of votes. But yeah, they showed up. I know Steamboat still. So much respect for that WrestleMania 3 match with Savage. Like, that totally set the standard for like what kind of story you can tell in the ring. Just awesome ring work. So, but yeah, it was pretty well in favor of Angle.
Yeah, so Angle moving on, and I can't wait to talk about it more because there's so many moments. Like, as you were talking about something he did, I was like, people forget about the 3 eyes when he was the first heel and stuff like that. So we'll talk about Angle more. But maybe only once more because he's going to have to go up against the winner between Roman Reigns and Iron Sheik in the next round. I'll kick us off really quick. I figured Roman Reigns would win this. He's super popular right now. I know there's been a time not right after Shield where he was getting that big push where people obviously pushed back on bringing him as in the top guy. It just seemed too forced. Yeah. And there was a lot of people that felt like he wasn't good in ring. If there's one thing that I think he gets flagged for a lot, it's his in-ring ability. His matches are still very watchable. They're very dramatic, but I think that's because of his positioning and what's on the line. I still don't think anybody would say he's like a great in-ring wrestler or technician. So that would be the one thing that Iron Sheik might have. I don't know how great Iron Sheik was necessarily in the ring, but great all-time heel and just terrible bad guy and kind of almost was the archetype for like the foreign villain heel. But yeah, so I would still go Reigns as like integral as Iron Sheik was to making a lot of the heroes of that generation as rootable for as he did by being so villainous. Roman Reigns is doing a great job with that now because he's got two faces over at the same time that people both want to see in a WrestleMania main event. We usually are booing everybody that's going to be in a WrestleMania event as the face, but Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, people are both cheering for them because they're going to go against Reigns. So he's doing that heel right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, interesting you bring up Cody's Sami Zayn because I'm actually seeing a lot of like pushback on Cody right now on Twitter, and I jotted it down so I didn't forget to talk about this. I think it kind of goes in line with the kind of heat Reigns saw when he was getting his push. And what I mean by that is like in the internet age, there's so much just talk. And you're not just like talking with your buddies after school or at school, like, oh, I want this, that. It's like everybody in this big public forum. So it's almost like we draw up these like dream scenarios and set our expectations as wrestling fans up to like 12 out of 10. And if we don't get that, we're going to be disappointed. So like we see kind of the direction they're going. It's looking like it's just Cody versus Reigns one-on-one at Mania. And a lot of people want to see Sami Zayn. But like if we didn't set our expectations through the roof and just enjoy the show, I think we would have a lot more like appreciation for the Cody versus Reigns match. And I think that's a little bit of what Reigns faced when Daniel Bryan was at his huge height. Like everybody loved Reigns in the Shield, and then they pushed him, and then it was like, well, we know that that's what you're trying to do. We know, and everyone was like calling it. And then when they got it, they were like, well, we don't want this. We want this other underdog guy. It's like, you can't have it both ways. So I will say, I'll end on this. I know we're going long. I've been watching pretty religiously since mid-90s. I will say this title reign by Roman Reigns is the greatest title reign I've ever seen as a fan.
Wow.
I know it's not the longest quite yet, but it's better than any of Austin's. It's better than any of Cena's. Better than any of Rock's. Better than the Punk reign in the Summer of Punk. It's my favorite of all time. So, Sheik, he did write the blueprint for guys like Kozlov and Rusev, and when they could really dig in, like the Canadians and the foreigners, like what was Muhammad Hassan or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh.
When they're the real like foreigner heel, Sheik kind of was the blueprint for that. But I'm still going Reigns all day. And what did the people say?
For sure. So this one, they did end up voting for Roman Reigns to move on. I will just shout out, or maybe diss or slam. The TikTok community voted that Iron Sheik won on TikTok.
Wow.
But there was more votes for Roman Reigns on the others. So
yeah.
Talk, I think, like some of the older guys, at least the people that are voting on our polls. So because they were big for Ultimate Warrior, Roddy Piper. Steamboat was closer, I think, on TikTok than on the other ones. So. But it wasn't enough to put Iron Sheik over Roman Reigns, which I think we might have had to call veto on that one or something.
Yeah, we do have a veto in our back pocket. We haven't used it yet, but remember, we do have that veto. Yeah. So what do we got coming up in the second round here? I mean, we saw who moved on, but...
The Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, versus the one, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge this man.